Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today, as you can see, we've got the RS3 sitting here in the garage, and we've got a couple of parts that are starting to pile up. I mean, not really pile up, it's two things, but the sort of build, I guess, is about to begin on the RS3. So I'm actually dropping it off today and getting the front mount intercooler fitted. And then the downpipes we've got, and we'll go over everything that we have over there, what brands they are and everything, are going on once the tune is like sort of booked in, ready to go. So the intercooler should be fine to run as is. But so because it's about to change, so it's currently got a stage 1 tune, they call it. So it's a Unitronic stage 1 tune. It's just on 98 pump fuel in Australia, which is, you know, the equivalent of the top pump fuel in America. I think it's 93 and 99, I think, in the UK and Japan. So whatever fuel you have, it's like other than ethanol, it's the premium fuel, I guess. So that's all this car's tuned on. It's not on E85 or anything yet. And it has the Venturi intake, which I'll pop the bonnet, I guess, and show you guys in a sec. But I hadn't actually done any base testing. So I wanted to see, before we go get more work done, what it will do using the Dragy. So yesterday I charged the Dragy up. I took the car out last night, set up a couple of cameras, and I wanted to get a 0 to 60 base time, an 1/8 mile base time, and if I was lucky, which I managed to just squeeze it in, a 1/4 mile time. So if you guys don't know much about these, magnetically mounts to your car, or you can use a sticky mount or whatever, and it uses a bunch of satellites, and it will record very, very accurate drag times. There's many videos, if you don't trust me, of people with these at the track showing the differences in times between their time slip and what the Dragy will report. I've used it a bunch on my Evo 10. It's a lot of fun to use, sort of yeah, it'll give you accurate readings if you get full satellites and you're on the same road, which I was. But yeah, so I wanted to go out and test it out because these parts are about to go on. The car is going to change a little bit. We don't even know what power it makes. After talking to a tuner here and saying it has the Unitronic stage 1, they said it should be, on their dyno, it will do 260 kilowatts at the wheels, and I'll put that up on the screen what that is in horsepower, because I forgot to look it up. We just go by kilowatts here in Australia. But that's about what it is. My Evo, for example, is 294 kilowatts at the wheels. So I always felt this thing, I know it's a 5-cylinder, it's 2.5 litre compared to a 4-cylinder 2 litre, but my Evo has a slightly upgraded turbo. It's not a massive turbo, but it's a bigger turbo than stock. So it holds boost all the way to the higher RPMs. It has full bolt-ons, injectors, and it's on E85. Now, it isn't like a crazy setup. I've mainly built it for like mountain runs and response. So it's not like a laggy turbo that has heaps of top-end power. It's just sort of a good mid-range sort of turbo. But even still, it's got all that work done. Everything you can do apart from opening the engine. And it makes 294 kilowatts, which is about right in Australian figures. And I launched it, so my best times with the Evo were 3.23, 0 to 60 miles an hour, 7.26 in the 1/4 mile, and 11.43, 7.26 in the 1/8 mile and 11.43 in the 1/4 mile. And that wasn't first try. They took me a bunch. The launching is different in the Evo 10, I will say. It's also a dual clutch automatic like the RS3, being a 6-speed rather than a 7-speed, but you actually have to manually shift. You can't leave it in auto mode for whatever reason. Once you upgrade the car, it will just hit limiter in first gear. So you do have to manually shift, which can be quite hard to get that first to second shift without hitting limiter, which will slow you down quite a bit. But with not a perfect launch, but the best I've done were those times, 11.43 in the 1/4 mile and 3.23, 0 to 60. So I took this out last night. I did 2 launches, super easy, because you can, unlike the Evo, leave it in automatic mode. So it allows you to just slot it into auto. Your launch is similar. You turn traction control off. You have it in the sportier sort of mode, and you press and hold the traction stability control button there. Turn that off, foot hard on the brake, hold that there, foot all the way down on the accelerator. It'll rev to, I think it was like 3,500 4,000 RPM or something like that. And it will hold that. When you let go of the brake, it will launch. And it will change the gears for you, which an ought to make you think my Evo would do that too, but it doesn't. So we took it out, mounted. If you want to know a good spot for mounting the Dragy, by the way, in this car, because one thing I don't like about these, this light on top flashes blue. I always get worried that, like, drive past police and I'll see this flashing blue light and they'll just pull you over to see what's going on and see, like, you have a Dragy, you have cameras. I personally, when I do it, have cameras set up. So I actually mounted it down here. It magnetically stuck to the windscreen wiper and it was out of the way, and I actually put a little bit of tape over the light so it wasn't flashing blue, it was flashing green instead. But yeah, I mounted a GoPro to the inside of the car, to the sunroof looking down, and I mounted the phone to one of these mounts on the windscreen. So the phone was connected to the Dragy, so you'll be able to see the times. And I just wanted a second shot. Also mic'd the car up, put a microphone in the engine bay and the exhaust. But yeah, so that's enough setup, I guess. So the car did. Absolutely, I'm pretty much blown away by the fact that this only has an intake, which according to people doesn't add power, and is on 98 fuel, like I said, and has the stage 1 tune. So I'll pop the engine bay as well, which I forgot to do, show you guys the intake. But yeah, I'm told that these don't really add power in stock turbo form. Definitely add sound and look really cool. As you can see, gigantic intake, if you guys hadn't seen these before. But yeah, so this is the Eventuri 4-inch intake. It has the stock turbo inlet, which I have heard is quite a restriction, and obviously the stock downpipes, which that's the aftermarket ones going on there. Stock intercooler at the moment because that one's not on yet. So yeah, that's the rambling on part. So what the car did is 2 launches. First one, I only did the 1/8 mile. So it did 0 to 60 in 3.22 seconds. So already beat my Evo 10. The very first launch. This is on a cold winter night. I actually had the aircon going here in the garage at the moment because it's starting to warm up here. 3.22, and it did the 1/8 mile in 7.23, I believe. I'm going to put those up on the screen. So yeah, 3.22 was the best 0 to 60. That was the first launch, and it was 7.23 1/8 mile at 97 miles an hour. So already both of those are beating my Evo 10's time. Now if I can find the 1/4 mile one, that was a slower 0 to 60 because I didn't hold the car all the way out in the first launch. I feel like this intercooler is going to be a huge saving grace because the car is clearly heat soaking pretty quick. So the second one I did 3.41 0 to 60, so quite a bit slower, and I did the 1/8 mile is 7.37, so quite a bit slower. But for that second launch, I held out to the end of the 1/4 mile, just made it onto my private road that I use, which is now being ripped up and subdivided. So it's not usable anymore, unfortunately. But I managed to get the 1/4 mile done. I think I even backed off a touch before, and it did 11.45 at 120.47 miles an hour. So higher trap speed than what my Evo 10 did, slightly slower time. But if that had been the first launch, where it was quicker in the 0 to 60 in the 1/8 mile, it would have beaten my time in its as is. It just, yeah, it blows me away. I can't believe, I know it's a different engine and type of car and all, but it shocks me how fast this thing is. So yeah, absolutely insane results. Like I'm shocked. Like I know that these things launch well I'm just shocked by, with the stock turbo on 98 fuel, stock injectors, all that sort of stuff already mentioned, the top speed, the high end it has with the stock turbo. Mine, it's probably a bigger turbo than what's the aftermarket one in my Evo 10, to be fair, but it doesn't have really, it is a little bit laggy, I will say. It's not like straight on responsive, but being a dual clutch auto, in my mind, you don't really get the lag from those, because if you're in automatic mode and you put your foot down, it's going to shift down to whichever gear is the optimal gear. If you're in manual, you're going to already be in that optimal gear before doing a pull. So it's not like a manual where you sort of experience the lag a little bit more. I think the dual clutch and a bigger turbo, it works better. Not that I'm saying this is a bigger turbo, this is literally the stock turbo, but it's sort of so many ways it doesn't make sense to me comparing it to my Evo, which I've got to stop doing. I know they are different cars, but yeah, I can see why people are running 10s in these so easily. So I think if I come now to the parts we're fitting, so we have the Wagner Tuning Evo 3 front mount intercooler. This thing is huge compared to the stock one, so this should make quite a bit of a difference in cooling the car down. I also like that it's black, because I just like the sleek front end. I know a lot of people, when they go at front mount, they want silver because you see the whole thing behind the grille, but I really like that you won't see, like you'll see if you know what you're looking for, but it'll just be black, it'll blend in. Personal look, Letitia was torn, she wanted the silver one, she wanted the black one, she wasn't sure, but this popped up at the right price, so this is what she's ended up with. And then we've got here the downpipe and the mid pipe. This is from JDY, and these are obviously also used, always bargain hunting for our builds. So these are, from what I've heard, the best of the best. Don't know if that's true, that's just, we're new to the RS3 world. From what people have been telling Letitia, this is what you want. This is the best system you can get. So it's a catless downpipe and mid pipes. So these will be going on soon. Intercooler's going on today. She's also trying to work out, does she just add those? One of the tuning workshops she's been talking to have been saying they just were going to recommend the stage 1 on their software and a flex fuel kit. So that was before she bought any of these parts, and they said it'll make an extra 10 kilowatts on their version of the tune, so 270 at the wheels, and it'll make 320 on E85, which will be E60 because it's kind of limited on the stock injectors. Since we've got these parts, they said we can adjust the tune to suit mainly the downpipe, and it'll make maybe an extra 10 kilowatts, but it won't be their stage 2 tune, which is how the Euro world works with their stages. Normally when you go downpipes, they call it stage 2. This would apparently not be, because we don't have the turbo inlet off the intake there into the turbo, and we don't have the injectors. So she's trying to work out, does she get all those extra parts, which adds up to quite a bit more, or does she get just these parts fitted, retune on flex fuel, and some new wheels? Because she's not the biggest fan of these wheels. She wants some 18s rather than 19s, and she wants a little bit more aggressive fitment. Wheel coming out to sort of here. The car will drive a little bit better on 18s, be lighter as well, which is a big bonus. So yeah, she's still trying to work it out, but for now I did have to get that base time done of the car, and it blew me away. I asked a bunch of friends last night as I was about to go out, what's your guesses on 0 to 60 in quarter mile time? And I put my guess as 3.45 0 to 60, because I knew this thing would launch well, but I thought it would not do as well top end, so I put 11.7, and it absolutely blew that. So yeah, I'm shocked. I think to go out with the intercooler, the second launch would be closer to the first one, because it'll be not heat seeking as much, but we have unfortunately lost that cool time of the year here in Australia. We might get a few more cool nights, but yeah, I am keen once we do the E85 and all that other stuff. I'm pretty sure this thing's going to run 10s. High 10s, but I'm pretty sure it'll be either very, very low 11s or a high 10, let alone if she does the injectors and all that, the full stage 2, which will make like 370 kilowatts or something at the wheels on E85. That's like a mid 10s, but yeah, I'm gonna end it there. I got to get this car washed, take it into a mechanic to get this intercooler fitted, and I've probably rambled on long enough. But so hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I know it's just mainly talking with a few short clips, but I like to document what we're doing with the cars, and this was a big thing. Like, this is something that it's in the early stages, you really got to get that base figure for the car to know, yeah, sort of what you're going to be working with in the future, what you've improved. So that's what we've done. Thought I would put the video out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts on the whole tuning thing, what we should do. Just the stage 2, needing the inlet, which is so expensive. This Venturi inlet is like $1,700 Australian, and then the injectors are like, I think 950 or something like that. And then the labor for those, might be able to get someone, you know, a mechanic friend to do that a bit cheaper, but it seems like so much more money in the tuning as well, the software for, you know, or does she sacrifice only making 330 kilowatts, which is still more than our Evos ever did, and save $1,000 and get these wheels that she's looking at, which are 18. So yeah, she's still working it out. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe if you're not already, but I'm gonna end it there. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.